Okay, I am recording this time. Quick fun story. When I shot yesterday's video, I didn't realize I was streaming live. I thought I had hit record. Apparently I hit stream. The best part was is I wasn't even sure where I was streaming to after I was over, because I wasn't sure what I had used this to stream for last. And fortunately it was to YouTube, so it saved me a little bit of trouble. Anyways, second day of conferences, officially, unofficially. Ubisoft and Square Enix were today. We're going to do the same thing we did yesterday. Quickly go through it, talk a little bit about, let you know what I'm kind of interested in. So Ubisoft started out with the Assassin's Creed Symphony. I do like symphony music. I love Assassin's Creed. I don't know if this is something I would want to attend. They just did one song. There was a choir too, but they didn't really sing anything. They just kind of went, oh, like, I'm sure there's other stuff where they might actually sing. I don't know. They did post a website. They're going on a tour. I guess tickets are on sale. Not really too sure. I am a huge fan of Assassin's Creed. It would be kind of cool. Like the stuff they showed in the background while they were performing was really cool, but I don't know if I could sit through a concert of that. I know these are big deals. Like Zelda's doing one now. And there's others. Zelda's the only other one I can think of off the top of my head. I've actually had some friends go to the Zelda one. They loved it. So, then they jumped straight into the Watch Dogs Legion, which had kind of got leaked a little bit a couple days early, which is not surprising. It's E3. Stuff always gets leaked early. So all the rumors about it were true, though. Apparently every character in the game, every NPC character in the city can be recruited and is a unique character. So there's so you're playing as multiple characters. It looks like there is permadeath in it too. So if a character dies, they're dead, and they're out of the story. So it looks like the idea is that you need to constantly be recruiting more people to make sure you have your army built up enough to complete the story. Looks interesting. I think I'm sold on it. It's hard to say. I liked the first one. I know the first one wasn't super popular. I liked the first one. The second one was good. I found it a little busy, so that is my only concern with this one, is that it might be a little busy again, but I don't know. I haven't really given Watch Dogs 2 a second chance either, so maybe I should try to do that first. I don't know. But either way, it did look very cool. It was definitely a different thing. Yeah, it's pretty neat. Then they had some actor, because I don't watch the show, so I don't know who the actor is, from Sunny in Philadelphia come out. And basically he's starring in a TV show. And the premise of the TV show is that he is he's the lead designer or whatever, the studio head for a fictional game company that's made the top selling MMO in the world called Mythic Quest, and I guess their first expansion, Raven's Banquet's coming out, and it's just kind of it's all satire, so it's like all jokes. There was one guy from Communities in it. I don't know the actor's name. I wasn't a huge fan of Community anyways, but it looks like it's along those same lines of humor, kind of like an Office, Parks and Rec kind of idea. Not quite from the documentary standpoint of those two, but with that same kind of humor and so forth. So, I mean, it looked like it could be funny, but I don't know. It's apparently going to be on Apple TV Plus, so not on regular conventional television or anything like that. They hyped up the next season of Rainbow Six stuff for Siege. I'm again not a fan of the series, the game. Sorry, but I am kind of impressed that it's lasted that long. Adventure Time characters are joining that Brawlhalla game, apparently starting today. is what the thing said. I don't know. There was a trailer for Ghost Recon Breakpoint, and then I know his first name's John. I don't remember his last name. The guy who played the Punisher in the Netflix, he's actually in the game. He came out on stage, talked about the game. That seemed to be the thing to do this year. Keanu Reeves was out on the Xbox stage. So yeah, he's there. He's talking about his role in the game, and he explains the game. He actually did a really good job. Him and Keanu both did really good jobs. They've done that before in the past, where they've brought out celebrities who are in the games, and you can tell they didn't prepare as well as they should have. These two both did really well, I thought. So the premise in this one is that he is the leader of a group called the Wolves. I don't know if you control him or one of the other wolves or whatever, but yeah, so they're like a special ops group within the Ghost Protocol or whatever. There was another trailer. They showed a second trailer for it, and then they came out and they announced something called Ghost Recon Delta Company, which they didn't really explain, but it kind of sounded like it was like almost like a social media exclusive hub for Ghost Recon. So you share your best screenshots and videos and stuff like that. I don't know. They did also then mention that the beta for Breakpoint starts on September 5th. And apparently, just like at the end of the Gears of War 5, where they showed that there was Terminator content, apparently there's also Terminator content in Ghost Recon Breakpoint as well, although they didn't explain exactly what theirs was exactly. I had to step out, so unfortunately, if you were following my tweets, there was like a huge gap between when I was watching live and then when I came back to watch the rest. So after that, they showed off a mobile action RPG game with all these different characters from all the different Tom Clancy franchises. There were the Rainbow Six guys and Ghost Recon guys, and even Sam Fisher from Splinter Cell, which apparently is the closest we're going to get to another Splinter Cell game. And appropriately enough, the title is called Tom Clancy's Elite Squad. Looked interesting. Yeah, I mean, it was a little cartoony. It's not obviously the same graphics as like an actual Tom Clancy game, but still looked really good. I mean, again, I'm not, like I said yesterday, I'm not really into the mobile games. I don't play, like, what I play on my phone is like the stupid little solitaires and stuff like that. Time killers when you're sitting in the waiting room at a doctor's office type idea. I don't really want to get into that type of game on my phone. As good as some of them are, yeah. Then they showed a trailer for Just Dance, which of course was followed up by an actual dance routine on the stage. Apparently it's the 10th anniversary of Just Dance. Interestingly enough, okay, so this is blown my mind. The Wii has been discontinued now for approximately 7 years. There's been no games released on it for about 7 years, except for the Just Dance games. They come out every year, including last year. Last year, Just Dance 2019 came out on Xbox One, Xbox 360, PS4, not PS3 though, the Nintendo Switch, the Wii U, and the Wii. This year, still no PS3, still now no Xbox 360, and no Wii U. But it's still coming out on the Wii. So it's not coming out on Nintendo's previous generation system, but the one before that. Which means, and don't get me wrong, and this is the funny thing. So again, full disclosure, as I've said before, I work for EB Games. And it does actually blow my mind how many people actually came in looking for Just Dance 2019, specifically for the original Wii. we probably did sell more copies. So, I mean, it does make sense if they're seeing those type of numbers across the board. I can see why they still support it, but I can't believe there's that many people who still have Wii's in their house. I don't think anybody has there's that many any system, older system, still in anybody's house. I wouldn't think, but apparently it is. And on a side, so it's Nintendo Switch, PS4, Xbox One, Wii, and actually also Stadia. It was one of the first shows where Stadia got mentioned on more than one occasion, because we didn't really see Bethesda mention Stadia much. Although I'm sure some of their stuff is Stadia, but they weren't talking consoles so much. So like platforms, I guess would be the correct term. Platforms, because Stadia is not a console, right? So yeah, and then they put it, if you send out birthday wishes using the hashtag JDBirthday, you could win a custom pair of sneakers. I figured what the heck, so I posted one. They announced a limited time in-game event For Honor. It was called Shadows of Hutakuru. I'm sure I'm butchering that name. It starts now and it's on until June 27th. So if you're a For Honor fan, probably check that out. There's actually a new Rainbow Six game coming out called Quarantine. It was stated that it's a 3-player tactical co-op game. I don't know if that's local or whatever. There wasn't a lot of details about it yet at this point. That's going to be next year. They played a little sizzle reel to thank the fans for their success with the Division 2. There's actually a free play period for the Division 2 from June 13th to the 16th. And then they kind of talked about their DLC plans. So they mentioned there was a episode 1 pack, which will be out next month in July. Apparently there's 3 new story mission things in there to do, all taking you out of the city apparently. Episode 2 was in the fall. They mentioned 2 more. I don't know, 2 more like mission type scenarios. And then episode 3 will be out in 2020 and adds a new game mode or something like that. They also mentioned that they do have a movie that will be released through Netflix, starring Jake Gyllenhaal. So that might be interesting. They then announced their subscription service, which was rumored to be a thing. It is for PC only. It's not coming to Xbox or PlayStation. It's going to be $15 a month US. So it's a little bit more expensive than Game Pass and EA Access, I think. Well, I don't know. EA Access, yes. Origin Access, I'm not sure. I have never looked into Origin's Access service, so I don't know. But yeah, $15 per month US, and it's going to launch in September. But if you register now, you get your first month free. But then they mentioned that in next year, it will also be added to Stadia. So that's actually kind of a big deal. But also, like, so Stadia is essentially, I'm going to kind of veer off for a second here. So I was reading kind of more about how Stadia actually works. And essentially Stadia, yeah, you're streaming your games, but basically you have to pay a subscription, but that doesn't get, but the subscription is more like Xbox Live Gold or PlayStation Plus, where it gets you the online access. And you do get some free games kind of similar to Game Pass that will come and go. But you still, if there's other games you want to play, you actually still have to buy those games. I know I was reading one thing where the guy who was writing the article about it basically said that was a bit of a turnoff for him. he kind of implied that he would rather pay a larger subscription to have access to everything. But that would be difficult, I think. I don't know. I don't know. From what it sounds like, you still got to have like killer internet that most people aren't going to have anyways. At least not anytime soon. So yeah, it sounds like it's kind of a similar idea to pretty much all the other subscription services that are out there for. It was called Uplay Plus. Sorry, I think I said that wrong a lot first time. But yeah, it's coming to Stadia as well in 2020. There was a rollerblade game that was leaked, and they revealed that it's called Roller Champions. It's kind of like roller derby meets Rocket League. So there was the oval track. They're on rollerblades. They're taking each other out, but there's also like a basketball kind of ball shape, size ball. I don't know if it's actually a basketball, but it's about the size of a basketball. And there's like a hoop off the side of the wall that they have to throw the ball through or whatever. I didn't quite understand. In the trailer, it kept showing like what seemed like a beam of light going around the edge of the stage, edge of the arena, and it kind of made it seem like you could only shoot and score when the light was going through the net as well. But I don't know. I obviously will find out more information. There is a demo available this week on PC for it. So you can tell me, actually. Then they showed an early tease for a game. There was not really much detail given. It's coming out next year, though, February 25th, 2020. It's by the guys that created Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and it's called Gods and Monsters. It's basically heavily focused on mythology and stuff like that. So, the guy who's the lead designer on it, he basically came out and he said, like, we love doing Assassin's Creed, we love the history, but one of the things we've really enjoyed in these last ones is kind of playing with the mythology as well. So they wanted to do a game that was fully into the mythology. So that's what this is, where they could basically ignore actual human history. So that's what that is. And then that was it for Ubisoft. Like I said, Watch Dogs looked really cool. I'm definitely interested in trying that. The Rollerblade Champions looks like it could be fun too. I enjoy playing Rocket League every once in a while. Other than that, there really wasn't anything from Ubisoft's presentation that got me excited. There's definitely stuff I would try, but yeah. Like I said, it wasn't a horrible show. It was a good show. There was some good stuff. I still enjoyed everything I saw, like, even if it wasn't something I was interested in. It looked good. So I think they had a good grasp on what their fan base wanted. So Square naturally jumped straight into Final Fantasy VII Remake. They say that apparently when it's released physically, it's going to have 2 Blu-ray discs worth of content. That blew my mind a little bit, because this was a game that was originally on 3 CDs on the PlayStation 1. And these were single-layered CDs, so these weren't like dual-layer CDs or anything like that. These weren't even DVDs. Like, the full game, if they'd put that full game as is on a DVD today, it would have fit on a single-layered DVD. Which means it sure as heck is going to fit on a Blu-ray. So the fact that they're saying that it's going to be around 2 discs of Blu-ray content, what the heck are they doing? Don't get me wrong, it looks pretty. It looks very pretty. But it's being also released episodically, so I don't... everyone thought Red Dead Redemption 2 was big. I mean, it is 2 Blu-ray discs too, so I mean, I guess this will be around the same size, another 100 gig game. I don't know. I noticed the camera cutaway. I put a tweet out about this. I noticed that the camera cut away and it showed everybody in the audience holding like beer bottles and stuff like that. It's like, oh, good, they're serving alcohol at their thing. No wonder these guys are so loud and excited. They did show gameplay footage to show off the game combat. The dialogue between the 2 characters, Cloud and Barrett, was actually quite humorous, but it seemed a little for someone like me who's more of a, like, I wouldn't say a casual player, but like doesn't like, just wants to have fun and doesn't want to think too hard about what he's trying to do, it seems like it could be a little too complex, but it does look like it's well thought out at least. I don't know, time will tell. They had shown a trailer, a short trailer, during the symphony thing that they did. So there you go, Final Fantasy has a symphony thing too. That's right. Before the symphony performance they had done the night before, and it had the release date. So everyone already knew the release date was March 3rd. They showed a longer version of that trailer though here. There's a collector's edition, has Cloud on his motorcycle and so forth. So that got people really excited. They played one of those critics, where the critics give their like praise for a game. One of those hype trailers for Life is Strange 2. Nothing about another episode or anything like that, or nothing to tease another game or anything. So I have Life is Strange 2. I've only played the first one so far. I really enjoyed it. I still want to play Before the Storm, and then I want to play Life is Strange 2. I do have all of the games, I just haven't played them. I did enjoy the Captain Amazing or whatever that demo was to hype people up for Life is Strange 2. I enjoyed that as well, so I do really want to play Life is Strange 2. I just haven't gotten around to it yet, so I don't even know. Maybe there is only 3 episodes in Life is Strange 2, but I'm hoping there's at least 5, but we'll see, I guess. But there was nothing. They didn't mention anything about anything new coming to it, so it was literally just to pat themselves on the back. Then they showed the trailer for the Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles remastered that's coming in the winter. That's all it said, it was winter. Then they did another one of those critic hype type trailers for Octopath Traveler, so another let's pat ourselves on the back. I don't know if this had been previously announced. It didn't sound like it was. The Last Remnant remastered, and apparently it's out right now for the Switch. I don't know. I don't know if they had previously announced that. Then there was the Dragon Quest Builders 2 trailer. They talked about some of the new features and so forth. Now, I know, based on the fact that this is the same music that they used in the next Dragon Quest trailer that they played, I know this is actually Dragon Quest music. But I'm positive I've heard it in like a Mario or a Zelda game too, and I'm now wondering, it's like, who actually had the music first and who's stealing it from who? I could be wrong. But Dragon Quest Builders obviously comes out next month, July 25th. Then they showed a trailer for, as I mentioned, Dragon Quest 11 for the Switch, which apparently the actual gameplay itself is still the old school graphics, but they've added cinematic animated scenes with voice acting for the cutscene stuff, and that's coming out this fall. Then there was a hype video for the Square Enix indie developers, and they kind of quickly showed off some of the games they've produced since, I think it was like 2016 or whatever, or published since 2016. And then they said what's next, and they talked about a game coming out next year called Circuit Superstars. So the way they describe this one is it's like one of those top-down views. If you're thinking of those old like super off-road games and stuff like that used to be out there, I know there's actually a more recent version on Xbox and on PlayStation. So it's like that overhead view racing game, but the graphics look really good. And they're saying that they're using the same type of physics that you would see in an actual traditional simulation racing game. They didn't say Forza by name, but like a Forza or a Gran Turismo or something like that. So that's kind of interesting. And then there was a short trailer for Battalion Eastern Front, which is now on Steam. They then showed a little commercial ad basically showing that their Square Enix music library is basically now available on all the major streaming music services like Apple Music and Spotify and all that. They then did a trailer for the first DLC, I guess, for Kingdom Hearts 3, which will be out in winter. Didn't care. Then they talked about the third expansion for Final Fantasy XIV, which is coming on July 2nd, called Shadowbringers. They said they feel the content in this is big enough to basically be its own game, but it's not. New races, new jobs. Then they showed the world premiere trailer for it. They showed a quick little teaser for Dying Light 2 again. Obviously, they didn't get too much into that because Xbox had kind of shown that off already. They mentioned that Romance Saga 3 and Saga Scarlet Grace. I guess, I've heard of the Romancing Saga, but I guess they're really big in Japan. They're both coming to the West soon. I think they were both for Switch as well. So there's a Final Fantasy mobile game, FFBE. I can't remember what it actually stood for. Apparently there's a new one coming out called War of the Visions, which is its own standalone, but it's the same part of the same series. They showed a teaser for that, just said it was in development. Then the guy who was the lead and part of the team that created, these are the team, same team that did Gears of War Judgment and Bulletstorm. They're doing a game called Outriders, sorry. And that's coming summer 2020. It looks like it's in the same vein, kind of as a Gears of War kind of idea. Not machines, and it didn't look like it was going to be as heavily bloody and gory, but that same style of game. They showed a trailer for an action RPG called, again, I'm going to butcher this, Anoki, which is coming out on August 22nd for the Switch. Then they did a trailer for Final Fantasy VIII Remastered, which doesn't look nearly as good as the Final Fantasy VII Remastered, in my opinion, and is also coming out before the Final Fantasy VII Remastered. Because it's going to be out before the end of the year, apparently. And then finally they went into the Marvel Avengers stuff. They didn't outright say that it's part of the same gaming universe as the Insomniac's Marvel Spider-Man that's exclusive to the PS4, but there was enough to indicate that it might be. So the first thing was they brought out, they said it was the lead creator, the creative director for Crystal Dynamics, and then they introduced another guy who was the creative director for Marvel games, which implies that kind of like the Kevin Feige role, right? Kevin Feige was like the guy who oversaw the whole entire Marvel Cinematic Universe, and then they had their own people doing each of the movies. So he was kind of like the in-between guy who kind of says, yep, this will fit. Nope, you need to rewrite this kind of thing. So it sounds like they have a guy similar to that who's basically telling them, yep, this will fit for the game. No, this won't, kind of thing. The art style for the characters, in my opinion, looked very similar to the Spider-Man game. So that, I think, kind of implies that it could be the same thing. So the rumors were, though, that this was going to be possibly an online-only game. Turns out that's only partly true. So there is an actual online mode. All the DLC for it will be free. There's no loot boxes, no pay to win, no microtransactions, none of that stuff. There is an online mode where you do create your own hero, like an Avenger in training type thing, and you can play with up to 4 friends online, or 4 friends total online, and go through missions and stuff like that. However, there is still a standard offline campaign, or it might be online as well, but like it doesn't sound like it requires online. Basically, you can either play it by yourself or you can play it with a friend. So like you can be Thor and Iron Man with a friend and play through the story. So it looks like it's just gonna have an online mode. It's not an online game, which I'm okay with. I'm okay with that. I've always been more partial to this story campaign type games. So that's kind of cool. And they've also got some pretty big gaming voice actors in the game as well. The two big ones being, of course, Troy Baker and Nolan North are both voice acting characters. Troy Baker is Iron Man, and Nolan North is doing Bruce Banner. I think I got that right. It might be the other way around. But yeah, it looks really, really good. And then they showed one last little video because it looks like they were talking about like, oh, it's just Captain America, Iron Man, Black Widow, Hulk, and Thor. They briefly ran down the concept of the story. The story is that they're at a celebration called Avengers Day to celebrate the opening of the West Coast headquarters. Something goes horribly wrong. The Avengers actually are declared outlaws. 5 years goes by. Sounds a little familiar in that sense. And then 5 years later, something disastrous happens, and they're the only ones who can save Earth, kind of thing. And so it's kind of like a story of redemption and all that, is what they basically said. But then they showed one last trailer before they ended the show, and in that trailer, Hank Pym was in it. So obviously there are other Avengers characters in this, but they're not. It sounds like those are the 5 main characters you can choose from to play in the story. So take that for what it is. I don't know if it's going to be like there wasn't a lot, so I don't know if it's going to be a case of like, oh, there's some flying missions, so you have to be Iron Man and Thor. Oh, there's some ground missions, you have to be maybe Captain America and Black Widow. Don't know. We'll find that out, I guess. But they did announce the release date, and that is May 20th, 2020. So that's just under a year away. But I'm pretty hyped about that one too. I think it looks good. I think it has a lot of potential. If it's even remotely on par to the Spider-Man game, I think they've got it. So, yeah, that was it. So just like before, in the comments section, tell me what you liked from today's shows from Ubisoft and Square. What didn't you like? Are you excited about any of the games I'm excited about? Or you think I'm nuts that I'm not excited about certain games? I don't care. Tell me what you think. That's cool. If you enjoyed the video, click like, subscribe, and all the wonderful fun stuff. Share with your friends. Share with your enemies. Share with everybody, because sharing is caring. Anyway, again, double checking. I'm definitely recording this and not streaming this live. So hopefully this will be up within the next couple of hours. But yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you again tomorrow. I can't watch Nintendo's show live. I have to work, unfortunately. I might try to see if I can watch it while I'm at work, but I'm not counting on it. So I won't be able to watch that till I get home. So I'm probably going to go on more or less a social media blackout till tomorrow night when I get home. But anyways, again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.